Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to round 2 of the Flat Out E-Racing V8 Championship. This has proved a really popular championship. We've got near full grids. We're into our 4th season now. We've got some committed racers who have been here from the start and some new guys who have only been into 1 or 2 rounds. So we've got a great mix of racers. Tonight we have one 40-minute race. Now, those of you that have followed the V8 series in the past will realise that is very different to what we've had in the past, and it's generally been a 20-minute race followed by a reverse grid race based on the result of the first part of the event, whereas now we're just going for this one 40-minute race. Damage is on hard, so drivers all have to be a little bit careful, so there's no bumping and boring. Pit stops, tyres is all down to the driver. And for those of you that saw last week's race at the Red Bull Ring would have noticed how 2 different strategies came into play, and there was definite 1-stop and 2-stop attempts coming in, and on that particular occasion the 2-stoppers seemed to be the fast one. So at the moment we're just gone halfway through our qualifying times here. We're just under 5 minutes to go. With this long circuit here at Spa, it's going to take the drivers a fair time to get round to be able to start the lap. So they've got 2 choices: either go out, do 1 lap, fresh set of tyres, go back out and go back out again, or what these guys I think on screen are doing, which is actually just going out and keeping at it, which is the way I tend to go when I'm racing. That you find, yes, you will get a bit of tyre wear that will slow you down a bit, but you do have the advantage of getting in that sort of skeletric kind of groove round the track. So what we're going to do is just have a quick look at what the settings are with regards to fuel and tyre wear. Now these are 5 times. Oh, that was Pineapple getting a little bit loose there. He's currently second on the grid. Tyre wear and fuel are 5 times normal usage, so this will force the drivers into the pits at one point or another. So it's something we've done to liven up the racing and make it strategy to become sort of part of the event. So if you look down the drivers listing on the left there, you've got Timorous there, one of the Greek drivers. Now he's very good at fuel conservation and often goes for a 1-stop strategy, so it'll be interesting to see whether he goes for that tonight, because at the Red Bull Ring last week unfortunately it really didn't work out for him. It looked at one point maybe the race was going to come to him, but unfortunately due to his fuel saving he needed to drop off his pace, and that unfortunately left him to the mercy of the guys that were doing 2 stoppers. So we'll just have a quick run down the drivers and see who is doing what. Stormfly, he's currently heading into the pits. You can see his pit crew waiting for him there. He's a very competitive driver, and by the VR46 in his name I'd imagine he is very keen on Valentino Rossi, so it will be very sad to see that he is going to retire this year. Next up, Pineapple Head. Again, another one of our competitive drivers, was towards the front for some time at Red Bull Ring last week, but I think dropped away a little bit as the race went on. So, but definitely one of the drivers that can get up there. Now you can see the penalties appeared. The drivers have to be very careful as they go through Eau Rouge, because the game is very brutal regarding the penalties through there. So there's no sort of great advantage to be gained by trying to shortcut Eau Rouge by going over the top of the curbs there. Now select again one of our competitive drivers. He's very much up the front there. I think had, from memory, about sort of 4th and 5th last time. Just looking at qualifying times, Sincor has just put one in now. He's one of our Polish entrants. He is very quick, and he's just gone top by, let's just have a quick look. We're just by 1.162. That is an amazing time around this circuit. Admittedly, it is over a 2-minute lap. Oh, is he pushed the luck there and got a penalty? He's come over the top of Radion. No, he's got away with it. So, who else have we got then? Playing that ahead, Loxtech. We will... yep, another driver. He was up the front last week at the Red Bull Ring, so we're expecting big things from him. But the fact he's got that penalty there, I imagine that's a track limits one again. So we've got a whole line of drivers here. We've only got 45 seconds remaining, so I'm not sure all these guys are going to get another lap in. So they're heading round Stavolo. Oh, Loxtech looks like he's abandoned that lap. So we move to Timorous. He's the only Greek entrance. There was a strong Greek contingent in this series at one point, but that has dropped off a bit. But Timorous is still with us. Now he's a guy that is very good at fuel conservation, so he's one guy to watch to particularly go for a one-stopper, because I think with the fuel settings we have tonight, I think we're going to have two stoppers mainly as we go down the field. So Snod 77, another pretty quick driver. I think he was around about 4th or 5th. Interestingly, he's out in the racing softs rather than the super softs, but that's going to be him completed. He goes across the finishing line. So who else we got? Andy J. He's a new driver to us tonight. Just joined the series, using all the curb there. Coming up towards the right left. Looking a little bit wide on it. No, he's brought it down to the apex there. Nice bit of driving there. So it'll be interesting to see where he shakes out. Currently qualified in 8th. Now, in 9th we've got Cajun 100. Now, that's Kevin who actually hosts the room for us, so we're all appreciative of that. So he's just gone round and qualified in 9th place. And then in 10th, we've got Giorgio Armanio. I was going to try and get your surname right this week. He's still on his final qualifying lap. He's literally 1/1000th behind Cajun 100 there, so I reckon he can find that somewhere. That's the thickness of a Rizzler paper in time going around this track, so I reckon he can do something with that. And then currently bringing up the back of the field, who he's completed his lap, is Blue Jones, just at the back of the grid there. So he's been a solid performer in the last rounds of the previous championship and is just getting up to speed with this new championship. So let's hop on board with he's 0.347 down as he heads down the round Stavolo and down the back straight towards Blanchimont. So I don't think he is going to be able to pull anything off here, but there's 3 cars behind him, so I'm going to hop on and see who they are, because their guys are also on that. Oh, look at it, a little bit loose there. That can all go horribly wrong when you come around there down to the bus stop chicane, which unfortunately due to modern track arrangements no longer looks like a bus stop. So as he comes to the line, goes across, no, it doesn't get any further. Stormfly comes across. Does he get any quicker? No, he's got a little bit closer to Season4, but didn't actually get any quicker there. And I'm not sure who's just coming round the final corner there. Oh, no, whoever it was didn't put a quicker time in. So there we go, 12 cars on the grid. It's a grid start, so it's a 40-minute race. Open choice of tyres, pit stops, you can do what you want. So with the fuel usage, I think majority will probably go for a 2-stop strategy. So unfortunately it looks like we've lost Corky. So here we go, red lights are on. Let's see where it's going to go. We're missing Dan TGT this week, who was a very quick driver. So this opens the door to several others. Oh, I'm not sure that looked like the driver in 3rd may have had a little bit of a jump start there. That was Pineapple Head, but he's through and he snatches the lead round the source. There they go. Season4 trying to push Stormfly around. Oh, hello, what's happening there? Back in 6th and 7th. I'm not quite sure. It looked like we're going to stay with the leaders now as they head down towards Eau Rouge, nose to tail. Here they go. This is looking really tight. The top 5 have made a breakaway. Is anybody going to get a penalty? Look at Pineapple ahead. He is absolutely all over that car in front. Look at this as they head up towards the Coombe. He's outside of the slipstream one side. He's outside the other side. Can he make a move? Hard on the brakes for right-hander. He's trying to go round the outside. That's a brave move if he can pull it off. And unfortunately he can't. Lockstech unfortunately picked the penalty up there, which he's quickly dropping. Pineapple head Stormfly going door to door over the crest. And Stormfly's got that position. So Select slotting there in 4th, and in 5th is Lockstech. So these guys I think will be away fairly quickly. Looking further back, Giorgio Armani will be very chuffed. He's there in 6th already, and Blue Jones in 7th. So I imagine those guys gain position at that first corner kerfuffle. So we'll keep on board with these first 5 guys, because this is where the door banging I think is going to happen. So here we go. Down to the left left even, and I'll remember its name in a minute. Fortunately my Sunday night brain is a little bit foggy. So here we go, back round Stavelo. Who's looking close out of these guys? Pineapple Head is still looking quite racy behind Stormfly there, and Lockstech is looking racy behind Select, but unfortunately he's got that penalty to drop, so we'll hop back to Pineapple Head and Stormfly, because look at this, they're heading down towards the bus stop. Stormfly's looking defensive. Oh, and Pineapple Head dives at the last minute. Has he got the move done? They touch. Stormfly runs a little bit wide, but they don't do a Lewis Max kind of arrangement. It's a little bit nudgy on the way out, but didn't look too brutal. Stormfly's just got a nose in front. They're heading down towards the first corner at La Source. Pineapple Head's on the inside again. Is he going to be brave on the brakes again? Yeah. Oh, it's a little bit touchy-feely, but I think they're okay. Blue Jones there still in 6th. Oh, up into 6th, I should say. So we, in that battle further back, I think it was Giorgio Armani that's dropped back, but Blue Jones up there in 6th will be really chuffed with that one. So, Stormfly flashing his headlights at Pineapple Head. Oh, Pineapple Head has made a mistake there. He's going to have to drop that penalty. I think he cut the track as they went over the top of Radion, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, and Stormfly dives down the inside. Oh, that was a little bit heavy-handed, guys. Calm it down. So, Pineapple Head's got to drop that penalty. Stormfly now seems to have pulled a bit of a gap, but Sincor is already making the run. And in the background, unseen to us, Lockstech got by Select. So I think Lockstech will definitely be making a move forward, but Select doesn't seem to be letting him get away. So Pineapple Head definitely needs to lose that penalty. So let's have a quick look further down while these guys have settled out a bit. So Blue Jones with Cajun 100 behind him, and Timorous in 8th. Now Timorous is a guy that tends to go easy on the fuel, so he may be working a different strategy. But Blue Jones up there in 6th, he'll be well chuffed with that position if he can hang on to it. But Cajun has got designs on it, but Cajun's got a 0.2 of a second penalty, and also Timorous is looking quite racy behind the pair of them, so I think this is going to get quite tight. And coming up behind is Giorgio Armani, so this is looking really tight. Here we go, round Stavelo, working our way back down towards the flat out Blanchimont left-hander. Brave as the brave. Cajun's going to be brave. He's going down the inside of Blanchimont. Can he make it stick? It's touch and go. Yes, he's done it. Fantastic stuff. Is he going to go defensive, or is he go towards the bus stop? He needs to drop that penalty as well. Blue Jones goes to the inside. Quick flash of the lights. They're side by side. They're 3 abreast. Timorous are going right around the inside. Giorgio Armani right up the inside. Oh, that was all looking a bit overly touchy-feely. Let's have a... Oh, no. Unfortunately, we've got the good old problem that our friend, the replay, is not working tonight. However, we will get back onto it. Andy J there, currently bringing up the rear in 11th. However, obviously it's his first race out with these guys. So Cajun 100 lost out in that battle at the bus stop chicane and got shuffled down to 10th. So let's just see who's working up the front of this pack. We've got definitely 2 packs. We've got the leaders, Oh, here we go. Timorous go down the inside. Oh, it's looking a bit touchy-feely again there. Somebody, I think, picked a penalty up there. I didn't see who it was. Oh, it's Snod in 8th, who's working his way back up there. So, Blue Jones, I'm sure he's going to be really chuffed being up there at the moment. So, let's get back to the action. Where are we've got the movers and shakers? So I think Snod might be somebody who is going to be moving through, possibly. Oh no, he's made a mistake there. He's got picked up a penalty again, so he's dropped back behind Giorgio Marnio. Oh, Andy J, unfortunately, who was there in 11th, unfortunately we've lost him. Hopefully that was a connection problem. He'll join back in. So we're down to 10 drivers. So let's have a quick look back at the front end of the field. So Season4 still out in front. Stormfly seems to be keeping him fairly honest in 2nd place. He had that little battle at the start with Pineapple Head. He's running about 1.5 seconds behind Season4 at the moment. It doesn't seem to be able to close that gap, but we'll keep half an eye on that one to see if that develops. Obviously we're going to be working in towards pit stops in a minute, so what we'll do is just have a quick look. So we are 7 minutes in and they've used nearly half a tank, so at the moment these guys at this pace are going to need to 2-stop. So we dropped to 3rd. Pineapple Ahead, he was having that tight battle with Stormfly over the first couple of laps, but now has dropped back a little bit from him there. He's about 3 seconds behind Stormfly. And then in 4th and 5th we've got Lockstech in 4th, Select in 5th, the 2 Polish guys. That seems relatively settled. Lockstech got by Select a couple of laps ago, but hasn't been able, it appears, to shake Select off. So, mind you, saying that, Select looks like he's coming back. Lockstech's going defensive as they head up towards the Coombe at the top of the hill. Select's going for the outside. He's had the slipstream. It's drafted him by. Now, what we'll do, we'll just have a quick interesting look to see if these guys are running a different strategy, because Lockstech's just over half a tank, so he might be looking to try and stretch this to oh, not if he runs deep like that. Well, they're both running, they've run just under half a tank in 9 minutes. Oh, Lockstech running wide there, nearly collected the barrier. So these guys might just be able, that's a track limits penalty Lockstech has picked up, these guys might just be able to stretch out to a 1-stop. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. So let me I just want to pull up some data for you guys there. I normally have all this to hand, but right at this moment I haven't got it for you. So let's just work our way back again. So Timorous now is in 6th. He shuffled his way through those drivers that gained quite a few spaces at the start there. So he's generally running a different strategy. So we'll just have a quick look at his dash. No, well, he seems to be running the same strategy as others, and I think with just over 30 minutes remaining, this is going to turn into a bit of a 1-stop strategy, at least for Timorous. The other guys might be able to pull it off, but we'll have to, I think we'll see more when we get to half distance and know what they're actually doing on that respect. And then next along is the performer of the night at the moment, my driver of the day, Blue Jones, up into 7th. Didn't qualify that well, I think was down in 10th or 11th. Made the best of the first corner kerfuffle and he's worked his way up to 7th and now looks pretty solid. He's definitely finding some pace in that car. He's got about 2.8 second gap to Timorous in front of him and about the same behind to Snod. So he's going to be well chuffed with that, I imagine. So hopefully for him, he can keep it going until the end of the race. So there's Snod, I just mentioned, who's just sitting about 2.7 behind Blue Jones. And then there's Giorgio Armanio. Oh, it looks like a little bit of a battle there with Cajun 100. So let's just keep with this battle for a few corners. I'm just looking to see if there was any other action that I could see happening. And it looks up the front, Season4 and Stormfly are keeping a similar gap between them, but definitely pulling away from Stormfly. Sorry, from Pineapple ahead in third. So Season4 first, Stormfly second, pulling away as a pair, and then behind them is Pineapple ahead. But for the final step on the podium, there's quite a gap back to that at the moment. So interestingly, Giorgio Armani seems to be catching Snod as just as much as Cajun was catching Giorgio. So this three-way battle for 8th looks like it is starting to hot up. So, oh, Cajun 100 got on the curbs there, all got a little bit loose. And nearly got it all crossed up and into a bit of a mess. And it looked like Snod was running wide there. Oh, and Snod's got it horribly wrong. Oh, and thankfully in this game, when people spin around out of position, they ghost out. So the drivers behind them don't lose out for someone else's mistake. So that's why they were able to just drive through the ghost effectively of Snod there. So that's dropped Snod down to 10th. So Giorgio is up into 8th and Cajun in 9th. So I think definitely Giorgio will be very chuffed for that one. So let's just move forward to see what the gap is happening with up at the front. So Season4 is still out in front, but Stormfly has got that gap down to under a second. So this is one that is definitely closing, because that was about 1.6, 1.7 I believe a few laps ago. So Stormfly is definitely coming in there and using all the track and a bit more, just keeping it within the legal limits. We'll just hop on board, see where they are fuel wise. So they've got about a third of a tank left. So yeah, no, I think actually my early prediction was wrong, and I think these guys are all going for a single stop. So I think that this means they can drag it out to 20 minutes remaining, zip in, fuel up and get going. So I think one stop seems to be the way everybody is going, but we'll stick with this battle because I think this is where it's tightest at the moment. But I am just noticing we look to have lost. Oh, Loxtech's made a mistake. I was trying to see who was out of position, and I wasn't expecting that screen to come up. So we'll just do that. Loxtech is very much out of position there because he was battling with, he was just in front of Select. So don't know what happened there, but he's dropped quite a few seconds there because he's dropped down behind Timorous behind Select, who's now 4th, behind Timorous is 5th. So he's dropped 2 positions there. And you know, my driver of the day, Blue Jones, is on his tail. So Blue Jones has definitely found some performance in his car tonight. So and here we go, pit stops are starting. So with 26 minutes remaining, oh, we've got 2 pit stops. So I'm quite surprised by both of these, because I thought these guys had sufficient fuel, but no, they didn't. So some drivers are going for a 2, others are going for a 1. So we're not going to know until probably about 12 minutes to go who is actually who's going correct with the pit stop strategy. So I would imagine that's a new set of racing super softs on the Stormfly. Now he was catching Season4 in first place, but because this field is running so tight, he has already dropped down to 9th. So he hasn't gone for quite a full tank. So that suggests to me he's definitely stopping again. So I am quite surprised by that as a strategy, that he's gone so early, because I thought the guys at the front were able to stretch it out. So I was wrong to correct myself, because I was wrong. I was right originally, I think. So, oh, and Cajun's gone for the pits as well. So 15 minutes in. So yeah, he's going to have to pit again. So I've hopped on board with Season4. Let's just see what he's doing with his fuel. See, I think Season4's got this one in the bag and is going to be way out in front, because he's gone easy on his fuel. He's got quarter of a tank left, and we've used 3/8 of the race already. So what I mean by that is, to get to half distance, he needs enough fuel for another quarter of the first half. Now, if you understood that, please drop me a note on my Twitch feed, because I'm not sure I understood it. But in my head, I know at the moment that Season4, I believe, has enough fuel, assuming, bear in mind this is a long lap, assuming he can get to the pits at the right time, that Season4 can do this on one stop. But we will have to wait and see whether that actually happens. So we know Lockstech didn't stop. Pineapple Head also did stop. So I think these guys have possibly shown a little bit of performance above where they're actually at, because they've been using more fuel than the guys that are ringing it out for a single stop. So Select, let's have a look on his dash, see what's happening with him. Yeah, again, he's got about a quarter of a tank left, so he's running this at a rate that he can get to half distance. So Select and Season4 look in very good position, and the guy that I don't even need to look at his dashboard, because I know what he's going to be doing, is Timorous in third, because he'll definitely be going for a single stop, because he's always very good at easing his fuel out. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll go for a little bit of an on-board lap, because I just absolutely love this circuit. So as we come up the top of the hill, this is a long Kemmel straight into Lacoon, right, left, and then just a dab. I'll tell you what, we'll bring his dash up as well so we can see exactly what he's doing. So here we go. Here we go. At the end of the curb, heavy braking down to possibly second gear. Yeah, there we go. Running a little bit deep. You can double apex this corner. And then round the left-hander. Try not to run too wide, because it will give you a track penalty. And then down to Puon. This is a double apex, fourth, maybe fifth gear. Exit in the fifth. Here he is, running wide on that exit curb. And then up to Campus. Oh, missing the apex. Oh, they caught the apex just at the end there. Now, this is where you're setting yourself up for the long run back to the bus stop chicane. As we come into Stavelot, the old track used to join here on the left, which is why that road goes back there by that building. So this is where the classic Spa Francochamps circuit, which was recently just roads, was laid out. So here we go, up round Blanchimont, sorry, absolutely flat out. Here he goes, scrubs off a little bit of speed because he's turning up, braking as late as he dare. There we go, just before the 100-metre board, down to first. Big chunk of curb on the entry, big chunk of curb on the exit. Absolutely fantastic circuit. So fuel wise, he's probably got enough for one more lap. So here we go, up to the Source hairpin, brake as late as you dare, try and almost clip the wall on the inside. There we go. Don't run on that sausage curb on the exit, because you'll lose traction. So this is so important down here, down to Eau Rouge, one of the most famous corners in the world. So here we go, big chunk of curb on the entry. Try and hold it tight, don't cut that curb too much as left-hander as you exit. Absolutely fantastic. So let's hop back outside onto Select. There we go. So we know what Select is doing. Let's have a quick look. So Lockstech has just gone for the pits. So I'd imagine he's on a single stop strategy. So that's going to come back into play for him towards the end of the race. So he's currently in the pits. God, he was down to his final litre, so he's really pushed his luck. So while we've got a little bit of a breather here, while everyone's sorting out what they're doing with the pit stops, we'll just run through where things are championship wise. We've had just one round so far, and I'll tell you about the other rounds we've got coming up in a minute. But we had Season4 won the first round, and at the moment he's very much in the pound seats for round two, even though we're only just over halfway through the race. Dan TGT, who was not with us tonight, he was second. Loxtech was third. Slipper came in fourth, and he's been, unfortunately, I think for technical reasons, not able to join us tonight. Select was fifth. Timorous was sixth, and he was the only driver last week that went for that single stop strategy. So I think he was brave, but unfortunately it didn't come off. Pineapple Head was seventh, so he's going to finish a little bit higher than that this week. Giorgio Armani, who's with us tonight, he was in 9th, and Cajun 100 in 10th, and Blue Jones in 11th. So Blue Jones currently in 6th, and I think going for the single stopper, he's going to work out quite well tonight. So our leader's in the pits, and our second place driver is in the pits as well. So I think Sincor is going to quite comfortably come out in the lead. Timorous is running, interestingly, he's running the soft. He's gone for his pit stop as well. Select only just made the pits. So Sincor in his pits refueling at the moment. So let's see where Stormfly is. So he's just coming up to the source, but we know he's got to stop again. So we are knowing that he will come back in. So Pineapple Head, Sincor. Oh, Sincor's coming out in second. So Stormfly has definitely had some pace on those fresh tyres. So, however, that 8-second gap is nowhere near enough to make up for the fact he is going to have another stop. So I think Sincor is quite comfortable there in second place, but it will be interesting to see how much of a gap Stormfly can pull out, and also where it will drop him back in when he does actually have his second stop. So I think everybody has completed at least one stop now. So just to tell you a little bit more about where we are going on this championship, because this is round 2 and we've got a total of 8 rounds that we're holding. So next week we're at Blue Moon Bay Infield, and then we're off, we're heading to the Far East. We're in Suzuka for round 4, then Dragon Trail Gardens round 5, Interlagos round 6, so we're off to Brazil then. Sardegna A is round 7, and finally back to Japan for Fuji as round 8. We have got virtually a full grid of drivers signed up for this championship. However, if you want to get on, I think we've got 1, maybe 2 slots spare at the moment, or if you want to get onto at least a reserve list, get on the Facebook and search Flat Out E-Racing, and the group will come up. Join the group. Guys are really friendly. If you want to ask any questions about the racing and how to get involved, they'll help you out straight away. We can add you into the chat so you can find out what other drivers are up to and find reminders about how the events are coming up and what's happening. So, you know, please feel free to get involved. We've also got a GT4 race on a Wednesday night. That's slightly lighter on the grid. There's only about 10 drivers in that at the moment. So if you want to get involved, that's a good one to jump in, because you can get some good results on that really straight away. And unfortunately, just when I was watching there, we have lost Giorgio Armani. So unfortunately, we've had another driver slip through our fingers there. So we've now got, sadly, only 9 left on the grid at the moment. So let's just have a look, see if this has shaken out any little battles. I think the only one we've got possibly is we've got Loxtech and Blue Jones Senior. I think that's what it means, Blue Jonesy Senior. I'm sure he'll tell me in the chat if I've got that wrong. Now Loxtech, I'm quite surprised, is down there at the moment. Now I should have made notes, but I think he was a driver just doing a one-stopper. So this may be why he's a little bit out of position. A bit with like Sincor currently is in second, but we would expect him to be up the front. And I can see probably the second stoppers stopping probably with about, I would say at a rough guess 12, but somewhere between 12 and 10 minutes to go. So they're probably going to do another lap or two while we can what we could do is just hop on board with Stormfly, who we know has got to pit, and let's see what his dash is telling us. His dash, I think, is telling us he's going to be pitting sooner rather than later. So I think if we bring up the timings, that is going to mean he's going to drop, because he was about 8 seconds up the road from Season4, so he's definitely going to lose first place. I think if we just hop down what the gaps are. So Season4 is currently in second, and he's 6 seconds behind Stormfly, who is, as I predicted, going in the pits. So Season4 whizzes through and takes the lead. Pineapple Head is a little bit further back, and then selected another 16 seconds. So and Pineapple Head, he's going for his second stop as well. He was down to 4 litres left. So this is going to tell us a little bit now where things are going to settle out. Now I think Select was definitely a one-stopper, so he is just coming across the start finishing line where the Pineapple Head and Stormfly are in the pits, and Timorous, again, he was a single stopper. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop on board with Stormfly as he's refueling up. These guys are coming through. Lockstack's gone through as well, who I think was a single stopper. So it looks this way. Last week at Red Bull Ring, the one stoppers, it really didn't work out for them. This week it really seems like it is. Now Stormfly has come out in 4th. Obviously he's got fresh tyres, but has got the same, or probably slightly more fuel than the one-stop guys at the moment, because they're not using it at the same rate. But I don't think he's going to be able to pull this one back. He's 6 seconds up the road from Timorous, so that's his first target. Those 3 guys out in front, Select, Timorous and Season4, are all one-stoppers. Now the one I'm not 100% sure about is Lockstack, who is currently in 5th. I'm just going to check on his dash to see what we've got coming up there. So he's got just over half a tank. So I think he was very much, yes, I'm sure he was a single stopper, but that's not really worked for him tonight. And I think that's because he had that incident a little bit earlier on where he was running around about 4th just in front of Select, and then he lost a few positions there. So I think that's why we've got the gap between him, where he on the one stopper, and Select, Season4 and Timorous, the other one stoppers, have got that bit of advantage time wise. They're that much further up the track. So let's just take a quick shifty around the track map and see if we've got any action. Well, we've got a little bit just behind Blue Jones by the look of it, because Pineapple Head, who seems to have shuffled his way down the field. He was in that breakaway pack of 5 drivers at the start, but I would imagine his pit strategy has not worked for him, because he's got a lot more pace there than Blue Jones. Here we go, up the inside of Blanchimont by the look of it. Blue Jones run wide, he's on the marbles and dirty tyres, and has run extremely wide there. Is he going to have a go back at the bus stop chicane? No. But I think, let's just check on board with the dashboards. So, okay, I don't think, unfortunately, Blue Jones is possibly going to get to the end. I think at the moment, with my guesstimations, the guys need, with 10 minutes to go, half a tank to get to the end if they're on a one-stop strategy. So Blue Jones is going to have to pit again, I think, looking at that one. So I think, unfortunately, he's going to fall into the hands, or not of Snod, because Snod has pitted. So he's very much on a 2-stopper. And I think Cajun is on a 2-stopper as well. So these guys will shuffle backwards and forwards a little bit, but I still think this is very much going to be Blue Jones's best result so far in this V8 Flat Out E-Racing Championship. So let's hop back up the front. Now, Season4 on his one-stop strategy, now that the guys behind it, or particularly Stormfly, has pitted, he's now got nearly a 30 seconds, yep, that's what I'm saying, 30-second gap to second place. So he's very much got this race in his grip. He's currently leading the championship, having won the first round, so I think he's very much going to cement his position there at the top of the charts. So let's move our way down. Select. It's played a canny race, I think. He was a little bit, I believe he was a little bit further behind with the in the first round. I'm just having a quick look, see if I can just bring up the data I had on that, which I've just lost. I do apologise. But Select was a little bit further down in the first round, but he certainly played a canny race this time, and with that one-stop strategy, has worked his way up neatly there to second place. Timorous, a driver who we know quite frugal, but unfortunately that means he has to have a slightly lower level of performance at times. And Stormfly, who's gone for that two-stopper, has got his eye very much, I think, on that last podium position, because he's brought that gap down from, I think it was 5 or 6 seconds down to nearly 1 second. So I think Stormfly is going to have Timorous. Now, whether he can also get Select as well, I don't know, because Select's another 6 seconds up the road. But I think what we will do is we will... it's all kicking off at the same time. So we're going to come back to that Timorous Stormfly battle, but there's a Lockstack Pineapple Head one here. Here we go, side by side up towards Lacoon. Oh, Lockstack, I think that was a bit heavy-handed there. But unfortunately, I mean, Pineapple Head might pick up a penalty for a track cut there. Have to see, it takes a few seconds for it all to catch up. No penalty coming through there, so Pineapple Head got away with that one. So Lockstack looking very aggressively to get by here. So as they work their way down to the fast poo on double left-hander, I'll tell you what, I think this will be a great on-board shot. Here we go. Up towards the campus right-left complex. Hard on the brakes. Oh, look at the closing. Oh, he's out-braked himself there. He's out on the marbles, his Lockstack. Takes a less than perfect line there. So, just dropped back a little bit there from Pineapple Head. And unseen to us, Stormfly has passed Timorous for that final podium position. So he's got considerable more pace than what Stormfly had considerably more pace than what Timorous had with his one-stop strategy. So be interesting to see whether Stormfly can make any inroads into Select for second place in this race. He's pulling away gradually from Timorous, but with just over 5 minutes remaining, I think for Stormfly there in the green BMW to catch that 6 seconds up to Select, it's going to be quite a big ask, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I'm just going to hop down to Blue Jones. Just as I was looking to Blue Jones to think that he was going to be pitting any second now, guess what? He's pitting now. So I know Snod and Cajun behind him also pitted. So whether they've had to... whether this will shuffle in his direction, I'm not sure. He's showing the soft tyres at the moment. I imagine with this last short stint of just on 5 minutes, I would be very tempted to jump onto the Racing Super Soft. So let's see what he does. Fuel's going in. We can hear cars going by. So he's showing down as 8th at the moment, but once he gets going and out of the pits, the fuel man's pulled away, but Blue Jones is going nowhere. He's off. I don't know what the problem was there, but he just didn't seem to be able to pull away. Unfortunately, That has dropped him down to 8th behind Snod. So I don't know whether that was a performance issue as we shuffled our way through that second set of pit stops, or whether that was due to the time he spent stationary there, but he's now dropped 11 seconds behind Snod. But I'm sure Blue Jones is going to be chuffed with that, because he has been towards the totally the back end of the field, and I'm sure he'll be pleased that he was very competitive early on, running 6th and 7th when we had still 11 cars in the room, and now he's still 8th, so he's not last tonight, so I'm sure he'll be chuffed with that. So I'm just going to hop back to, I think there was a little bit of a battle there for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So yes, here we go. So select Stormfly is a coming. He's a coming. That gap was 6 seconds just over a lap ago. Now it's down to 4.1. So we've got 3 minutes 30 remaining. So that's enough for 2 more laps. So 2 laps, he's catching at 2 seconds a lap. This is going to be a last lapper battle, possibly into the bus stop chicane. So this is the one to watch. So we're going to stick with this. I'm just keeping an eye on what else is happening around the track. But everyone seems to have gapped each other fairly well. So the one... Oh, and Locksteck's having to go for another stop. So that is going to play very much into, I think, Snod and Blue Jones' hands there. I was not expecting him to go for a second stop, and with 3 minutes to go, I'd imagine he probably wasn't expecting to do a second stop as well. So that is going to be relatively short on the fuel, and he's away. Just put 29 litres in to get him round the last couple of laps, but he did have more of a gap than I imagined, so he has slotted back out where he came in there in 6th. So I think that will be him done to the end of the race. So I'm a little bit surprised Locksteck's down there, because he's been the driver that's been really up the sharp end. So he will be possibly a little bit disappointed with that one, but he did have that incident fairly early on in the race, so that may well be what has caused him to shuffle down there. So we're going to hop on board with Stormfly. We can watch Select in the distance there. So just as he did last lap, it looks like he's going to knock about 2 seconds off the gap between himself and Select. So he's very much got his eye on that last or that middle podium, not the second place on the podium, let's call it that, because the middle place on the podium we all know is the winner. So sorry, I'm tripping over my own words tonight. So here we go, 1.5 seconds, 1 lap to go, and we know Stormfly at the moment is about 2 seconds a lap quicker. So here we go, round the source, runs a little bit deep, hasn't got the perfect exit there, and this will affect his performance all the way down the hill through Eau Rouge and all the way up the Kemmel Straight. So here we go, big chunk of curve on the inside through Eau Rouge. Oh, get a little bit loose there. Doesn't want to get a penalty, because that would really spoil his party. So here we go, up through Radion. Oh, and the one who has got a problem is Select. At one point he really didn't want to get a penalty, and he's dropping it straight away, which is the right thing to do, but that's dropped the gap down to just 0.7 of a second. So we've got just 45 seconds remaining, so I don't think these guys are going to get another lap in. So here we going very deep there, Stormfly. Turned it into a double apex on that one. Here we go. Tip the curve on the inside around his left hander. Select being careful not to go too wide. You pick up a track limits penalty for that one. So we charge down the hill towards Pouon. So good line through here. Stormfly might well. Oh, and Select made the mistake all on his own. Select ran wide, and Stormfly has snatched the position. So Stormfly's got second. Now Sincor is 38 seconds up the road, so it's not going to trouble him. Sincor could pull in, have the car washed, polish, have a quick Red Bull. Oh, and it look, Sincor's finished. He timed it well to cross the line just as the time ran out to save himself doing another lap. So that was a cracking bit of thinking by Sincor there. particularly if he was running a bit low on fuel. So Stormfly made that two-stopper work for him. So it just shows how great this series is. Sinclair up front, he did a single stopper, and then Stormfly in second did a two-stopper, and they finished. Oh, Stormfly. Oh, is he going to get a penalty for that? Ran very deep at the first part of the bus stop chicane. Then Select is all over the place on the curb, so it's all getting a bit scrappy. So Stormfly second, Select third, Timorous coming in fourth. So who we got running up in fifth? Pineapple ahead, just coming through Blanchimont. So the driver that really broke into that top five, who wasn't there at the early part of the race, was Timorous, using that one-stop strategy to his advantage. And the one that dropped out was Loxtec, because early in the race we had, as Pineapple Head's coming across the line very slowly, scrubbing his tyres. So who have we got coming in sixth? Loxtec coming through in sixth. So Timorous made his break into that top five, because they were running as a separate pack, and Loxtec, unfortunately, that mistake and strategy has dropped down to sixth. But still solid points there for the championship. So, you know, we're only 2 rounds into an 8-round championship. So there we go, Loxtec crosses the line. Snod coming through in 7th. So that two-stop strategy unfortunately didn't work that well for him, but I think it did give him the jump on one car at least. So he was running with Blue Jones and Cajun at one point, so I think that certainly helped him. And then unfortunately, possibly not the result we hoped for mid-race, but Blue Jones coming through in 8th, which I think is his best result today in the V8s. So that concludes tonight's racing. So we'll just see Sinclair take his Garland. Not quite sure why he's sponsored by Jeep and a BMW, but I'm sure there's some cross marketing going on there. So fantastic racing there tonight. Interesting strategies that certainly mix things up a bit, so we're really pleased to see that. So hope everyone enjoyed watching tonight. We've got next round next week is from Blue Moon Bay. So we've got a combination of bank, track and infield circuit. So I think we'll see some quite exciting racing there. So glad you could join us, and look forward to seeing you join us again next week.